What if I told you that many people are expecting money from the government, but they don't realize there are actually two different agencies, two different systems, and two completely separate payment paths involved? Today, we're breaking down the real truth behind the IRS and Social Security, because confusion between these two has led to missed payments, delayed deposits, and serious misunderstandings. Whether you're waiting on benefits, refunds, stimulus-related updates, or federal payments, you need to understand how these agencies operate, what they control, and what they absolutely do not. This isn't about rumors. It's about facts that could directly impact your bank account. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you see these payments forever. And if you find this information helpful, make sure to like this video right now, so more people can get the truth too. Now let's clear something up right away, because this is where most of the confusion begins. When people talk about government payments, they often lump everything together as if it all comes from one place, but that's not how the system works. The truth is, different agencies handle different responsibilities, and understanding who does what can help you avoid misunderstandings, delays, and unnecessary stress. First, let's talk about the role of the Internal Revenue Service. This agency is responsible for collecting federal taxes and enforcing tax laws. When you hear about tax refunds, audits, or tax credits, that's typically connected to this organization. If you overpay your taxes, you may receive a refund. If you qualify for certain credits, they may increase that refund. But the key point here is that this agency does not manage monthly benefit payments, like retirement checks or disability benefits. Its main job revolves around taxes, not ongoing benefit distribution. Now let's shift to the other side of the conversation, which involves the Social Security Administration. This agency manages retirement benefits, disability benefits, survivor benefits, and supplemental security income. If someone receives monthly payments based on work history or disability status, those payments are handled here. This system operates on a completely different structure than the tax system. It has its own eligibility rules, payment schedules, and verification processes. So why does this distinction matter so much right now? Because in today's fast-moving information environment, headlines can blur these lines. A story about tax changes might get mixed with benefit updates, or discussions about refunds might get confused with monthly payments. When that happens, people may assume they are expecting money from one agency when it actually comes from another. That misunderstanding can lead to unrealistic expectations or unnecessary worry. Let's break it down in simple terms. The tax agency focuses on income reporting and tax compliance. The benefits agency focuses on providing financial support to eligible individuals based on age, disability, or specific qualifying criteria. One deals primarily with what you owe or receive in relation to taxes. The other deals with structured support payments that follow a defined schedule. Now imagine someone hears that a payment is being issued. If they don't know which agency is responsible, they might check the wrong account or look for the wrong type of notice. That's where clarity becomes powerful. Knowing the source helps you verify information properly and avoid confusion. Another important factor is timing. Tax refunds typically depend on when you file and how quickly your return is processed. Benefit payments, on the other hand, usually follow a predictable monthly schedule based on your eligibility category. These schedules are not interchangeable. They operate independently. That means changes in one system do not automatically affect the other unless specific legislation explicitly connects them. It's also important to understand that both systems have verification processes. The tax agency may review returns for accuracy. The benefits agency may conduct periodic reviews to confirm continued eligibility. These reviews are normal parts of maintaining system integrity. They are not automatically signs of problems. However, staying informed about official notices is essential so you don't miss important updates. Let's talk about communication for a moment. When either agency sends official correspondence, it is important to read it carefully. Notices usually explain what action, if any, is required. Sometimes no action is needed at all. Other times you may need to confirm information, update records, or respond by a deadline. Ignoring official mail can create delays, so it's always best to review documents promptly. Many people also wonder whether changes in tax laws affect monthly benefits. Generally, tax law changes and benefit payments operate in separate legal frameworks. However, certain income thresholds can influence how benefits are taxed. That doesn't mean your benefit amount changes automatically, but it may affect how much of it is subject to taxation depending on your overall income. Understanding this difference can help you plan more effectively. Now let's address something important. Misinformation spreads quickly. When people hear partial information, it can turn into assumptions. That's why it's critical to rely on official updates directly from the responsible agency rather than social media summaries or secondhand interpretations. Checking the correct source ensures accuracy. Another reason this topic matters is budgeting. If you depend on predictable income, knowing which agency issues which payment helps you track your finances properly. When you know your payment schedule, you can plan bills, groceries, and other expenses with more confidence. Clarity reduces stress. It's also worth mentioning that both systems use secure methods for distributing payments. Direct deposit is common because it reduces delays and improves reliability. If you are enrolled in direct deposit, payments typically arrive automatically without needing to take any action each month. Keeping your banking information up to date is essential to avoid interruptions. Security is another shared priority. Both agencies emphasize protecting personal data. That means they will not ask for sensitive information through random phone calls, emails, or text messages. If you ever receive suspicious communication claiming to represent either agency, it's wise to verify it directly through official channels before responding. Staying alert helps protect your identity and finances. Now, let's talk about why people sometimes think payments are connected when they are not. It often happens during discussions about federal relief programs or tax credits. Because tax refunds are sometimes larger during certain years, people may assume those funds relate to monthly benefits. In reality, they are separate processes. Understanding this distinction prevents confusion during financial planning. If you are receiving benefits, it's also helpful to understand that your eligibility is based on specific criteria. Those criteria may include age, work history, disability status, or income limits depending on the program. Staying informed about those rules ensures you understand how your status is determined. Knowledge empowers you to make better decisions. Communication between agencies can occur in limited circumstances, especially when verifying income information. However, that does not mean one agency controls the other's payments. Each operates within its own legal authority. Recognizing this independence is key to understanding the broader system. Let's pause for a moment and think practically. If you are waiting for money, ask yourself, is it a tax-related issue or is it a benefits-related issue? That simple question can guide your next step. If it involves taxes, you would look into the tax agency's processing timeline. If it involves benefits, you would check the benefits agency's schedule or account information. Clear identification saves time. Another important point is patience. Government systems process millions of transactions. Occasionally, delays can happen due to high volume, verification checks, or technical updates. A delay does not automatically mean something is wrong. Checking official status tools or notices can provide clarity before assuming there is an issue. It's also helpful to keep personal records organized. Maintaining copies of tax returns, benefit statements, and official correspondence can make it easier to resolve questions if they arise. Organized documentation simplifies communication and reduces confusion. As we continue, remember this central idea: two agencies, two responsibilities, two separate missions. The tax agency handles federal tax administration. The benefits agency manages monthly support programs. When you understand this structure, you can interpret headlines more accurately and respond appropriately. If you ever feel uncertain about information you see online, pause and verify it. Look for official statements. Avoid sharing unconfirmed claims. This approach protects not only you, but also others who might rely on your information. Finally, let's bring this back to you. If you receive payments from either system, staying informed is your best strategy. Understanding which agency handles what allows you to track updates correctly and avoid unnecessary worry. Knowledge turns confusion into confidence. The bottom line is simple. These systems are designed to serve different purposes, and recognizing their roles helps you stay prepared, organized, and informed. When you know the difference, you can navigate updates with clarity instead of uncertainty. And that clarity is powerful. Thank you for staying with me through this breakdown. If this helped clear up the confusion between these two agencies and gave you a better understanding of how the system works, make sure you subscribe for more straightforward updates and stay tuned for future videos that keep you informed and confident about the topics that matter most to you.